Hi, I'm Gil Benbrook from Phoenix Stages and TalkingBroadway.com, and I'm here with the cast of Pageant at Arizona Broadway Theater, which runs through September 18th. So I have John Gentry, I have Seth Tucker, and I have Kurtis Overby. So first, Seth, Pageant is a musical that presents a very different take on beauty pageants. But it's also a show that isn't really as well known as all the other shows that ABT does. It's definitely not, Fiddler on the Roof. So for people who don't know about the show, what would you tell them that the show is about?
The show is from start to finish a beauty pageant. So it's literally you're going to see an opening number, you're going to meet the contestants, and they're going to compete for you in spokeswoman, in talent, and beauty crisis.
Beauty crisis call,
like they're going to have
fitness.
their categories, and then from there, the audience chooses a winner. So it feels like you're actually just at a beauty pageant from the beginning to the end. There's no backstage stuff. All the stuff that happens is on stage in real time, in front of an audience. There's no fourth wall. It's almost like immersive to me. I think of it like an experience. By the end, you are rooting for someone, and you are at a pageant, and you are not even seeing that the contestants are played by men. So all the
What?
Oh my gosh, the twist.
What?
Yes, all of them are played by men, and with complete honesty, like we're playing these women as real characters, not as drag. And you forget that. By the end, you forget because everyone loves them and gets to know them, and they're beautiful, and they're really just doing the show legitimately.
So speaking of beautiful and legitimate, Kurtis, you play Miss Texas.
Miss Texas is beautiful.
Yeah,
She is.
Well, that's debatable.
She's
but
okay.
She is.
Thank
She's
you,
beautiful in
John.
her own way.
Yeah.
So I saw the show last weekend. I thought that, I don't know, now Seth, you directed this production. I don't know if it was your decision or if it's actually in the script that you were sort of the most polished, I thought, of everybody. You were this very professional contestant. However, the evening that I was there, you lost.
Yep.
And let's just say you were very unprofessional
Yes.
in how you lost.
Yes.
Which was, to me, was a huge highlight of the evening. So do you actually hope that you lose?
100% of the time, I hope I lose.
Okay.
It is a part of the script. I mean, in the character descriptions, it says Miss Texas is the most polished. She's the one that's done all of this before, and it's also in the script that says when Miss Texas loses,
Okay.
you are to act bad.
Yeah.
So that's what I
Okay.
look forward to.
Okay.
I'm standing back there. We're standing when the judges are giving their scores. I'm like, I hope I lose. I hope I lose.
Okay. So do
It's a lot of fun.
when any of the other contestants, if you win, do the other contestants
There's
also-
one, Miss Deep South.
She also-
She also.
She would take up that.
She assumes
But
the mantle.
only if Texas.
But
wins.
only if
Right.
I win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's, I guess, the rivalry between Texas and the Deep South.
Yeah.
right? Okay, so John, you're the only man in the show, right? I mean,
Technically.
the only male character in the show.
Technically, yes.
Okay. So you're an Arizona native.
I am.
You've been working at Child's Play for over 30 years as an associate artist.
Associate
there.
artist.
But this is, and you've worked around the country, but this is your first time in a show here at ABT. So what took you so long to make the trek up to Peoria, and what was it about this show that attracted you?
You said the appropriate word, trek, because I live in downtown Mesa, so it's a bit of a haul for me to come here. But the reason, honestly, is sitting right next to me here. He's the reason that sort of brought me out here. I got a message one day on my Facebook from Seth saying I'm going to be directing Pageant at ABT, and they asked me for names of people that I'd like to have audition for the show, and I gave them your name.
Okay.
So, and they were incredibly patient with me because I was doing 47 things at the same time, and I finally was holed up in a little room by myself with my little tablet doing a video audition with music I had recorded. I was going to play through big speakers, it didn't work, so I'm explaining to Kurtis and everyone on the thing, I'm just going to hold this and sing along with it, and so you know, and I've been doing a pirate voice for the past 7 days. And I had seen the show when it was done here 20 odd years ago, 2 times, and was always very intrigued by the show, and I loved the idea of the fact that there is no fourth wall. That's something I like to do a lot. I did tell Seth at one point if I'd known the role was as large as it was, I probably would have said no. But everyone was
You're the
incredibly
anchor of the
patient.
show, really.
And it is sort of fun to sort of come and go and do all of that. And I love doing musicals. I don't get to do them that often. I don't get to sing this much. I don't get to sing this way. But I've been and seen a few shows here, so it's sort of exciting to actually come and actually work at Arizona Broadway Theater and work with someone like Kurtis, who I've seen on stage but had never met before in my life, and all the people here. So that was a big enticement for me.
Great. So Seth, the show was done in New York 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was also done just 2 years ago off Broadway, and you were in that production. It's a very small theater, though. This is a big space, huge stage, and to me, it really, you get this feeling that you're really at a beauty pageant as opposed to in a small little off-Broadway theater, so to speak. So what did you take from your experience doing the show in New York to bring here, but what did you find like you had to really change for the larger space?
I think that what we did in New York was a little more of a throwback to smaller versions of pageants, like a local pageant and things like that. It was more like a cute pageant with quirky characters, whereas this, the most popular pageants are Miss America and Miss Universe. And we were like, think of it like these big stages with all these incredible lights and beautiful costumes. And then we have characters like Miss Texas, who is like a contemporary pageant contestant. She does the poses, everything is sort of stomped, and it's really like almost like sexy. I feel like that is a big difference. Like this feels more like an elaborate, so we had to make it feel like more grand. Whereas the other one was like,
It's like
this,
cute.
you just happened to be at the mall when they were doing this pageant,
Okay. All right, so Kurtis, we talked about how your character is very competitive.
Yes.
So how are the girls off stage? How are the six of you?
I would really love to say that we hate each other and like we fight and I know that's what everybody wants to do, but we really don't. I mean, we're back there just having the best time. We do have a tally board. Who wins, who's the first runner-up, who's the second runner-up, just to keep it.
keep the competition.
Keep track of who's in.
Yeah.
All right, so the show's been on for about a week now. So have you won yet?
I won opening night, and I won.
I'm sure that was a rigged vote.
It was rigged completely. And then Bible
Bible
Belt
Belt's won
is
three
She's won
times?
three
Miss
times.
Bible Belt is the one that's
But we've
won.
all won.
But we've all
Seth
won.
won last night.
And I
was
thought it was
awesome.
impossible. But yeah.
Well, you're sort of the out there character. Miss West Coast,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
interpretive
yeah.
dance.
Oh yeah.
Very crazy. Okay, so John, we talked about how you're the MC, and so you sort of, as I say, steer the ship. But it's a very freewheeling kind of show, and you also go out in the audience a lot. So I know, with Child's Play, there is a little bit of the audience involvement, but
We try to avoid it as much as possible, actually, because kids are very unpredictable. I actually love it. It's one of my favorite things, and I love to interact with an audience as an actor. As an audience member, I don't want anyone to come near
Yeah,
me.
me
That's sort of the irony of it. So yeah, it is freewheeling. It's sort of timed out. There are moments where I have an ear to what's going on backstage, because sometimes I may have to stretch something out. So I'll be saying something and suddenly I hear, it's like, oh, they're not there yet. So, I'll add
There we
something.
go. Just like
I'll say
costume
something
changes
else.
and things that you're
Yeah,
really
getting set
sort of-
pieces. Our crew is there are two guys back there doing amazing amount of stuff. So they're having to do like 6 things in a 10-second intro. So sometimes I will play that. But yeah, it's one of my favorite things. I sometimes wish I had come out in the audience more. But I love playing to the audience. I love talking to the audience. I've always loved that as an actor.
And yeah, I will say that if you're in any fear of danger of being drawn into the show or being in the audience, that doesn't happen in the show. It's
We try to be very
very-
kind.
very
We're
respectful.
not, yes,
Respectful.
it's very respectful.
So I said that the show started 25 years ago, and it's been back to New York. It's been done around the country. Why do you think this show resonates with an audience?
It's crazy to think that pageants have sort of always been popular. And I feel like they're a sort of a resurgent, especially with you get toddlers and tiaras. And Miss America, Miss Universe, they're all incredibly popular. And so everyone knows pageants. Everyone knows the format of pageants. And the thing, there's some updating that has happened since 1925, which really was just illusions. And that's mainly just his stuff at the very beginning. But other than that, these characters are like timeless characters. We know them, and they sort of make sense to everybody. and where we know where they're going in this journey too. So it feels like it could go on for a long time. As long as Miss America is around, drop dead gorgeous, toddlers and tiaras, that people are going to relate to it and know what it is.
No, I agree. I mean, I think anybody that grew up on pageants or just know, because it's such a standard sort of template, so
Yeah.
to speak.
And I have friends who, like, well, Withers, Deb Stevens, people I work with at Child's Play who take this very seriously. When the pageants come up, they have
Yeah.
made their list and they've decided who the finalists are going
Oh,
to be.
yeah.
It's like a sporting event.
Yeah.
They
This past
handicap.
weekend, we were just mentioning backstage, we were like, oh my gosh, we didn't know how seriously the audience and the judges
Who yell
would
things
take
at
There
us.
was, did you hear boo? And on
Yes.
that show, there was some booing for some of the
Yes.
scores.
Yes.
Yes. How could you give that person a 5?
Yeah.
Or how could you give them a 10?
I mean, they're literally taking notes in their program.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh, and it's just starting.
oh,
Like
and, you
more
know,
and more, because people are going to start coming back, and they're going to want to see their
the other night
person
we had
win.
some pageant directors here.
Yep.
And they were like,
They loved it more than I think anybody. They
Oh,
were our
yeah.
best audience because they were like, I know that girl.
Yeah, well, the six contestants are, I don't want to say stereotypical or archetypes or, but they're definitely
Representation.
representations
Sure.
of certain things that you've seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so now my last question's for you, and these are actual questions that have been asked at beauty pageants.
now, do you want Miss Texas to answer, or do you want Kurtis
No,
to
I want
answer?
Kurtis to answer.
That's
Well,
not-
you can
Kurtis
choose.
is bored. I'm kidding.
I know, right?
Okay, so John, we'll start with you. If you could be beautiful and not so smart, or brilliant and not so beautiful, what would you be and why?
Total easy answer. I would go with brilliant. And the reason I would be brilliant, because if I was brilliant, I could make a lot of money if I were brilliant. And then it wouldn't matter if I wasn't pretty, because I could be like one of those rock stars that always have the 20-year-old babes around them, or I could just pay to fix myself up. Plus, but I like brilliant because then I think I could have better conversations
Yeah.
with people.
All right, I think that you would get a very low score from the judges with that response.
I didn't know
Okay,
I
so
was
we're-
scored.
Job.
Oh, I didn't think of
Sorry.
that.
I've got to turn on Miss Texas.
Okay,
That's why
so
we don't want
Kurtis,
You do now.
Miss Texas,
Oh, okay.
if you could be either water or fire, which would you be and why? These are actual questions that have
Oh,
been
I'm
asked.
sure.
Wow.
What would I be and why? Water, fire. Well, Miss Texas would say I would be water to drown out all the other competition.
Okay.
Kurtis would say, oh, I have no idea.
We can come back to you if you want.
Come back to me.
These are hard.
These are hard.
Okay, my
questions.
last question, because you obviously failed too.
Yeah, I failed.
All right, now this one is just typical. Seth, how would you solve world peace?
Because it's solvable.
It's completely solvable.
I guess I would say this is why America is the greatest country in the world. I don't know. I would say education, educating. I feel like the more people are educated, the more, or the less intolerance there is, and the more understanding. I think that more educated people seem to get along better.
That's true.
Okay, I would like to change mine just to brilliant because then I could change the world through education and make it a better
Hey,
place.
You
There you
already
go.
are, John. You already are.
But maybe the way to solve world peace is to just come and see Pageant at Arizona
Pageant.
Broadway Theater through September 18th. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.